Hi, me again. Still the 18th of May and my story continues with Dad being really sick. In and out of hospital from September, between September and December. And he just gradually got worse and worse to the point where when he did come home, he needed care 24/7. He couldn't do anything for himself, and so Mum couldn't leave the house, and so I had to do a lot more work. I did the grocery shopping and ran the errands and did what needed doing so Mum could take care of Dad. And Dad was frightened for her to go out and leave him on his own too. So yeah, very hard, especially on Dad. He kept saying, I'm going to get on that walker, I'm going to walk again, I'm going to practice, he needed oxygen therapy, and he would say, I will, just give me a week to get off the smokes. And in reality, he was just so frightened if any staff members came to the house that they'd put him back in hospital because he was that bad and deteriorating so badly. And there was one, I think the second last time he was in hospital, they sent him to a rehab, and they sent him too early. He was not ready for it, not well enough, could barely stand, let alone go into a gym and try and get walking again. And they treated him so badly there that he rang us one day crying and said, you've got to get me out of here. And I was the only one that could do that. So I went down, took Mum, and I wanted him to stay, I wanted him to get better, but he just had to get out. He wanted to go home. He said they will wheel me out in a casket if I don't get out of here. So we had to take him home, and that was really, really tough. Like, I was so torn by that, but I had to do what was right for Dad and what he wanted. And even Mum, the way she was looking at me, because she was getting worn down so badly too. She was tired, and it was hard, really, really hard work, and he just clearly wasn't ready to come home either. But he couldn't have been at that stupid rehab. He needed to be in hospital. But by the end, I don't think there's any way anyone could have saved him. So I remember the last time he was in hospital, the doctors hugged him, and when they said goodbye to him, and I remember them saying that it was about keeping him out of hospital as long as possible. I still didn't expect him to pass away so quickly. He was home for less than a week the last time. And I saw him on the Wednesday night. I went there after work and I was in a bad mood. I was depressed, I was angry. Not at him, but just angry in general at the world. And I had no idea. If I'd known that, I never would have been like that. So I have my regrets. But that was the last night that I saw him. And that was the Wednesday. On the Friday morning, I got a call as I was getting ready for work. You better come down here. And so I was in one of those states where you flip out, and I just put on whatever clothes I had there on the floor. It was a pair of shorts, I had hairy legs, I didn't even think about it. I raced out the door, I jumped in the car, and I got there in a flash. I'm only 10 minutes away, and I was probably 10 minutes too late. I pulled up and there were 2 ambulances out the front of Mum's and Dad's, a sight that I was not wanting to see. And then it was one of those, it was like everything slowed down, and I jumped out of the car and I did one of those runs where you just feel like you're going to fall flat on your face, but you're running so hard. And I got up the steps and I was stopped at the door by the ambulance's people, and they said, are you Carolyn? And there was 6 people working on Dad in my bedroom where he was sleeping. So he didn't make it, and apparently he woke up at 7 o'clock that morning, and he was normally calling out all through the night for Mum's help with tea and coffee. He was an insomniac, and all the things he used to do for himself he couldn't do anymore. But the Thursday night before he passed away, and the Friday morning, he didn't wake up at all. and Mum had been awake all night, and she went in there to check on him and make sure he was breathing, because it was so unlike him to not be awake. But he slept all through the night for the first time in years. And then Mum got up to make coffee in the morning, and she heard in the back room, my room, she heard the lamp go on, and she thought, okay, he's awake, and he didn't call out again. And so she went up to see if he was all right, and he'd already slipped off the side of the bed. So she rang the ambulance, and they told her what to do with Dad until they could get there, and they got there very quickly, but apparently by the time they got there, he was already kind of gone, and they worked on him, and in the end Mum said let him go, because Dad didn't want that. He didn't want to be revived, and I don't think they could have saved him anyway, so I didn't get to say goodbye. Okay, I'm going to stop there again because I don't want this to be for nothing. I want it to download, so I'll stop there, and then we'll get to the funeral and my big MS attack. Okay, thanks.